Hi, it's been a while since I had a check-in for my chromatic freebase left hand exercises, and I've been practicing pretty regularly, and I'm getting a little bit more speed and confidence when I find those notes in the left hand side. So let's look at the first exercise, which is the chromatic scale up and down in 2 octaves. So I played the entire 2 octave scale up and down by opening, and then repeated up and down by closing because it feels very different when I'm playing up the scale while opening versus when I'm playing up the scale while closing. It's a little bit harder because I have to like push the bellows in and also climb up the scale this way, which is actually go down physically. So I advise anybody that's practicing to practice it like both ways. So you should be able to play up and down the scale irrespective of which bellows direction that you're moving. Initially, I used to practice it this way. And then when I come back the scale, I used to close the bellows. So both of those were easy, but whenever I wanted to like do it the other way, like if I have to go up the scale while closing the bellows, and then going down the scale while opening the bellows, I found it super hard. So I made it a point to like practice it both ways so that this doesn't develop into a problem. And so the trick to make it work when you're actually working in the counter direction is to basically manipulate your wrists and move the position of the wrists proactively as you keep moving down the scale. We don't want to be doing this by keeping your wrist stuck at one point and bending the wrists in order to reach the notes. That's going to make it super hard, and you won't be able to like control the bellows well. So that was the first exercise. The second exercise is the diminished scale. So that was the second one, and so it's basically just playing it over 2 octaves on the first column, then going back on the second column, and then going up again on the third column, then coming back to the second column and getting back to the place where you started in the second column. And the next one is the block triad exercise for major chords. So I don't want to play it too low because it sounds very muddy. So I start this from an octave up. We repeat the same exercise by playing them broken, playing from the lowest note to the highest note. So that is this exercise, and we repeat the same exercise by reversing the direction of the notes from highest to lowest. So that is that. And the next one is to play the chromatic scale on both left and right hand. So this one I found it a little bit more challenging because the left hand and right hand are doing like playing the same notes, but they are playing it, the fingers are like entirely different because you're playing two different systems. But I'm able to play it a little bit better with fewer mistakes, but this one needs more work. So eventually I want to be able to play this at the same speed that I'm able to do it with just the left hand. But that will need a bit more work. So the next exercise is actually the 2-octave major chord arpeggio. So it's basically this. But doing it for all 12 notes up and down. So I basically repeat each chord like 3 times so that I get some repetition to build my muscle memory. So this is how this one goes. So I got up from a lower C to a higher C, and I just played 1 octave of this. Usually I repeat it for 2 octaves and then try to go all the way back down chromatically to where I started, but for the purposes of this video I'm going to stop here. So the next ones that I'm playing are ones that I didn't really play during the last check-in. These are newer exercises that I've been picking up. So these are the major scales, and the first, so it's just 3 shapes that we are the C. So it goes like this. And the same shape and fingering stays for E flat. I just move over to the next one. And for F sharp. And for A. And we reach high C. So those are all of the 4, and we could do the next one, which is the second column, which will be for notes C sharp and E, G, and B flat. So they all play the exact same shape. It's a little bit different from what we did for the first column, but this is how it goes. So we've already looked at 8 of the 12 chromatic scales on 8 of the 12 major scales on the 12 notes. So we have D, F, G sharp, and B left. So this is a different shape. So we do. The next challenge is to actually put the right hand together and play the exact same scales. This is also a little bit more challenging than just learning the left hand, because all 12 of the scales on the right hand, the major scales, have different fingering. Like each 12 of them is different. Each of the 12 is different from the other. Whereas for the left hand, for the 12, I just need to like learn 3 patterns and repeat it 4 times over for each of the 3 patterns to get the 12 notes. So every major scale that I'm gonna play here with the left hand is gonna be something unique that needs to be learned. So that is a little bit challenging. So here we go with the C major scale. Start this off very, very slow, very conscious of like what I'm doing on both hands, and then try to slowly build up speed. Making mistakes while doing these repetitions. and so it's definitely not worth it to speed up when you're still making mistakes. So the second one is E flat. So my fingering was all messed up, so I'm gonna try again. Next one would be F sharp. Last one is A major, which is not as hard as E flat and the F sharp. Personally, I don't find it as hard to put together, but let's see. So where is the A? So that's all of the 4 in the first column, and I'm not that familiar with the C sharp, E, G, and B flat scales, playing them both hands, but let me give that a try right now. Okay. Next would be E. Next one would be G. The next one is B flat. Alright, so we're done with 8 out of 12, and then the next 4 are the ones that I've practiced the least. So I'll probably save that for like the next check-in. Hopefully I'll have gotten familiar with that, and I'll be able to play it a little bit faster. But that's all the exercises that I keep repeating every day in order to build my free bass left hand technique. And until the next video, see you then.